Hey, how are you? I'm in my office and I got this couch we film videos on and other things, but cat owners know why I'm sitting on the floor to film this video. Anyway, I wanted to film today's video because I've been sharing a lot more lately about my launch strategy, and I've been talking more about how to have a really productive launch and some of the techniques that I really like to use to make sure that my launch is a success and run smoothly without burning out and all of that stuff that I feel like we hear about launching. And one of the techniques that I wanted to share with you is about how to figure out what exactly you should be launching, how to get people excited about it, and how to market your offer in a really effective way. So, something that I talk about all the time is productive sales. And what I really always come back to with productive sales is figuring out exactly how your audience is already describing the problem that they have and talking about it in that way. So this is something that I noticed a lot when I first started my business. I was practicing as a nutritionist, and I also worked with a lot of nutritionists. And what I noticed is that a lot of them would talk about the solution to people's problems before they would ever talk about what the client actually experiences. So let me make that more clear. So for example, if I'm having a lot of stomach issues and I'm bloated and like a lot of weird stuff's happening with my stomach, a nutritionist might start talking about gut health and the microbiome and Paracelsus and probiotics and prebiotics. And they're talking about all of these things about digestion. But really, as the client, all I really care about is I don't want to be bloated anymore. I don't want to have gas. I don't want to feel uncomfortable in my pants. Um, these are the things that I'm actually struggling with. And so see how the nutritionist or the business owner has the tendency to talk a lot about the solution before they ever meet their client on the same level where they actually are. So I don't know that my problem is that I have no probiotics or really low probiotics. So you talking to me about probiotics is not a selling factor for me. It's not something that interests me. So I realized, okay, so we have to meet people where they are and talk about what's going on with them in their own words. And this works in every single niche, it turns out. And you might be wondering, oh, hello, I'm here. Okay. You might be wondering, like, okay, cool, but how do I know what my client is actually thinking about their problem? What are they saying to like their girlfriend or their partner or whatever? Like, how are they talking about their problems? I'm not actually in the room with them. And my favorite thing to do before you launch is to poll your audience to find out some of those things. So if you've had some conversations with your dream client, maybe you already know these things, but there's always more that you can find out. And so the technique that I like to use before I launch is to actually send out a poll to my audience. And you can do this in a few really cool ways. One, you can like actually create a survey and email that out to your list if you have one, and give them like a Starbucks gift card in exchange for filling it out or something like that. But lately, one of my favorite things to do is to just leverage social media to actually get some answers from your audience. So what you want to do is you should have like a specific topic that you already have questions about. So let's say, for example, I'm talking about launching, like I am in this video. I might send out a poll to my audience and say, like, when it comes to launching, what's one thing that you're currently struggling with? And I'll put maybe like a sticker, like the question sticker there, and let people put in their answers to that. That gives me some first information. And so then let's say somebody wrote, I'm struggling with how to plan a launch, or I'm struggling with how to hit my sales goals in a launch. So then I would use one of those answers to create a follow-up question, maybe the next week, maybe a week further, and ask some more follow-up questions about the answers that they left there. The other thing that I like to do on Instagram stories with polls is I like to say, if I had a magic wand and I could solve your problem about launching, what would that solution look like? What's one thing that if I could just wave a magic wand and solve it for you, you would want solved? And so somebody might say, have a literal like launch plan done for me. tell me how to write emails to my list that actually convert to sales, or teach me how to launch without burning out, or these are some of the things that people might say as a response to that question. So that gives me a little bit more information. And the key thing about this, you want to like screenshot all of these answers, is that you're going to get the exact words that they use to talk about their problem. So you might think, as the nutritionist, you might think, oh, well, what they're struggling with is probiotics. But what they're going to tell you is that I'm struggling with the fact that when I wear my pants, I have a muffin top that comes over my pants anytime after I eat. And if you can use that language when you're selling your programs, the results are going to be so much better, because your audience is going to feel like, wow, she really understands what I'm going through right now. And so you both have to be the expert that knows the solution, but also you have to like listen to your audience, be empathetic, and understand what they're actually experiencing right now on this side of their problem, so that you can provide the solution and get them to the other side of their problem, right? Get them to the other side. So that's what I like to do. Get really creative with your polls. The other thing I like to do is like, all right, so let's say I've gotten some information. I know that people are really struggling with how to plan a launch. And I've asked them like, okay, when it comes to planning your launch, if I could wave a magic wand and solve one problem for you, what would that be? And then people say like how far in advance should I be planning my launch, and just give me an exact launch plan. So then I might say, okay, I'm going to create a webinar, or I'm going to create a course all about how to productively plan your launch, plus get access to my exact launch dates all mapped out for you, or something like that. Then what I would do is poll my audience and say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you resonate with this title? And I would give people a few different title options and see which one people resonate with the most, and try to like switch them up a bit. A mistake that I've made a couple times, and I like do this often, is that I'll keep the titles like pretty similar, and then it's kind of hard to like tell. People are like, oh, you're saying the same thing, but it's like, down to one word that I think makes a difference. But try to like, come up with a few different topics and see which one people like the most, and whichever one that is, roll with it. And you can do the same thing for putting out like a freebie. If you're putting out a freebie before you launch, which if you have my launch checklist, you know that that's something I recommend in order to grow pre-launch phase. You can find out like what freebie do people actually resonate the most with, and like poll people on all these different titles. When you do that, you're able to put out the thing that people need the most right now. So if I was that nutritionist and I said like, do you guys want Probiotics 101, everything you need to know about probiotics, or this guide about 2 ways to eliminate bloat so that you don't have a muffin top? And probably less people are going to vote on the probiotics one. And I might be like, whoa, I thought a lot of people would want to know about probiotics. Boom, you learn your lesson. Or like you learn really quickly what your audience is into. And you don't always have to like keep polling your audience all the time. You start to like get some keywords and start to understand them even better, and be able to like actually speak to them more and more, the more you actually, work with them or have conversations with them, or even get in the DMs and stuff like that. Oh, and that's the last thing that you can do. If there's somebody who answers a question, or like answers your question that says like, what are you struggling with the most right now? And they give you a really great answer, feel free to like reply back to them and say, hey, I'd love to know more about this if you're open to it, and ask them follow-up questions. And a lot of times people are into it. Don't be annoying, obviously, and like take up a lot of people's time, but you can find out a lot more that way too, if people are open to having that conversation with you. Plus you're creating like this real connection with people in the DMs, which, not to get into social strategy and stuff like that, but that's really good in a lot of other ways too. So if you are launching soon, do this first. Find out, how are people describing the problem that they currently have, and can you create a solution using that exact terminology, so your audience literally feels like, whoa, she just read my mind. That's the exact thing that I needed right now, and create that for them so that you get to provide those solutions exactly when they need them, and in a way that makes them feel truly understood by you. It's one of the best things you can do for a launch, and it's one of the ways that you can actually ensure that people are going to purchase the product that you're putting out because people have told you this is a problem that I'm having right now. And if it's in your wheelhouse, then you can provide that solution for them. So do this first. If you have any questions about pulling your audience, feel free to ask me in the comments. If you want my exact launch checklist, which I kind of mentioned in this video, I'll leave a link to it here or shoot me a DM and we will send it to you. Okay, bye.